Hey, I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama, and this ridiculous setup is what we're going to use for quarantine for our 3 new hens. We're planning on getting them in the morning, and what we wanted to do is show you this goofy looking but essentially very effective setup. So you can see all of my other videos in regards to quarantining new chickens, but you want them to be away from your existing flock at least 30 feet. Some people say even more than 50. And you want to have them quarantined for a minimum of 2 weeks. Some people do up to a month. So my hens, my current flock, whoosh, is way over there. And what we are planning on doing is going and getting the new hens in the morning. So the supplies are not in there yet. I don't have the pine in there or the roost bars or anything like that. But I did want to show you what we're planning on doing. So we've used 2 dog crates that are zip tied together so they are connected. And the tray is in there and it will have pine on top of it. I have access with doors here to both crates so I can get in if I need to grab a chicken for something, if I'm going to be cleaning up poop or whatever. But obviously the chickens being out in this area, it's not a permanent setup, and of course it's not as safe as them being locked up in a coop at night. So what we're doing is working with existing pieces of hardware cloth to reinforce everything. And we chose to stick them back over here in this shady spot. Number one, because we can use existing structures. I can use the side of the shed, and then I have 2 fence sides. But also because, as you can see, we're planning on keeping them protected from my dog. Now, I have rehabilitated my dog, but I mean, instincts sometimes, if she gets excited or distracted, are going to be a problem. So we've put an extra little gate here. Now, of course, if my dog was to get in where the crates are, she still can't get to the chickens, but we want to keep them from being terrorized. So what we're planning on doing is having the small crate that's on your left is going to be for the chickens to sleep at night. That's the roost bars. And so that's where we're going to be doing a lot more reinforcing with hardware cloth as much as possible. Everything is zip tied. And then the larger crate that's over on your right, that's over in the back in the corner, that's going to be their daytime crate that's going to have their food and water and all of that kind of stuff. So I will have access to both crates. The girls, where we're getting them, they're from a friend, and they have been treated, they have been medicated, and they are perfectly without, any kind of signs of disease or anything like that. My girls were just wormed, and then we just did the deep clean of the coop. So we've got everything cleaned out and dusted and sprayed and everything. So what we're planning on doing is setting up with the final materials and everything tomorrow morning, and then going and getting our girls. They'll be in here for a minimum of 2 weeks. And remember, we're quarantining not just to protect our existing flock, but also to protect the new girls, just in case either group of birds has any kind of disease, parasite, worms, anything like that, that might be any kind of a problem or a danger to anybody. So this extra pallet that's here is just going to be a reinforcement in case this rabbit wire fence gets bent. But we want our chickens to have as relaxing of a time as possible as they're transitioning here. And so now that they're actually outside with the other chickens, as opposed to being in the garage or in a shed or something, they'll get to hear everything that's going on around in our neighborhood. They'll be able to hear our existing girls, but as you can see, they are a good distance away. So we'll do the final setups of everything tomorrow morning, and then hopefully we will have some videos for you with bringing our new girls home. Okay, so I did not want to show you guys all the different progress videos of us moving things around and figuring out how we were going to set everything up. I know it looks like a mess back there, but I'm showing you how far away, as I trek through the wilderness, how far away the new girls are. We have them, they're home, and I have mostly good news and a little bit of bad news. So the good news is these girls are just under a year old, and I have a cuckoo Maran, sorry, I'm trying to unlock the gate here, and a Sapphire Gem, and then another Easter egger. So the Easter egger is the brown hen, and she looks very much like Blue. Hi, girls. Tick, 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 tick. So here's our new flock, our new little 3. The Sapphire Gem is the one who's, I don't know how she looks on your screen. She actually is brown on her head and on her neck, and then she goes to gray, and I really want to name her Minerva, after Minerva McGonagall. So we'll see. The one on your right who has feathered feet. Ah! I've never had a chicken who has feathered feet. She looks kind of like Calypso, who is my black sex link, but the one on your right, she looks like she's black with copper. She's actually a really dark brown, and she's got speckling on her feathers. She's absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, she's got a huge comb. They've already figured out the food and water, by the way, which was really important to me, that they understand where they can get that stuff. And then I made, I don't know if they'll even use it, but I made roost bars and stuff over here. Everything is locked up nice and tight, so there's no danger of predators or anything like that. We've got hardware cloth coming around on some of the sides over here, so they've got access to food and water. They're digging around. They are very calm. They are very sweet. They had their wings trimmed already, which was nice. And they are coming from a friend from a mom's group in a city I used to live in. So that worked out really well. I know they were well loved. I got to see the house where they were and all of the other hens and everything. So that was great. The bad news is when we brought them here, my husband and I, as we were unloading them from their boxes and the chicken carrier that I have, we were doing like just a little physical. I mean, and they're all in great health. They look wonderful. The Sapphire Gem, who was the gray one, there's my finger, who is the grayish one, she had some nails that were really long. And I've done videos about trimming your chicken's nails, which normally isn't necessary. They grind it down on their own. But for whatever reason, sometimes a chicken needs to have them cut. So we cut her nails. And then as I was checking all of their feet, at least 2 of them have bumblefoot, which is like, no! Bumblefoot, if you guys have been on my channel for a while, I've dealt with bumblefoot really bad with Blue when I got her, when I added her to my flock. And she was such a wild, scared bird who was never handled or really around humans that it was just a really stressful experience for both of us. I'm hoping with these girls it's not going to be as bad. And it doesn't look like it's a huge, big bumblefoot. Bumblefoot is when a chicken gets a staph infection on their foot. But the problem is, when you would normally get a staph infection, you take medication and all of that stuff and it's fine. But with chickens, the problem is that they get a cut on their foot, just from, mulch or rocks or whatever, but they're standing around in dirt and mud and, and stuff all day. So it gets infected. And so bumblefoot is where they get like a hard kernel where their body's trying to localize the infection and it scabs up. But unfortunately, if it's left untreated, it can go into their bloodstream and it can end up being a killer. So look at those feathered feet on the left. So exciting. So I'm going to have to treat for bumblefoot. And the way I did it before, that is very non-invasive. I mean, it's stressful. You have to hold the bird, but you do a very, very strong solution of warm water and Epsom salt. And you soak their feet in it basically as long as you can stand it, 10 or 15 minutes, where you just have to hold the bird where they're standing up. And I mean, you're kind of doing like a pedicure against their will. And then I have a topical, it's called Vetericin, and it's a topical like antibiotic spray, which of course you spray it on the bottom of a chicken's foot and it's like, well, that's not going to do them any good. But you spray it and then you basically just have to hold the chicken up in the air for a minute and let the spray air dry on their feet, and then they're good. And I'm going to have to do that starting tonight, probably twice a day for at least a week. So I'm going to go in and get them some frozen food. They're starting to look a little bit pale. It's warm out here today, even though there is a nice breeze blowing and they've got a lot of ventilation, obviously. But they're very calm. They're not freaking out or panicking or anything like that. I know this looks like the ugliest setup ever, but I'm using some small structures like that kiddie pool and like this old soccer goal to help enforce this extra fence. The chickens are never going to be in this part of the yard, but it's just to give my dog a barrier that gives them some distance from the chickens so she can't run right up to the chicken cage. She was great, and all I did was I just played shepherd with my broom out here and kept her so she can't come past the trees, and she was really good. She totally ignores my chickens now. We haven't had any issues with her. Hey, there's my finger. That's awesome. Oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. It's my little, there we go. We haven't had any issues with my dog with those other chickens in months. We've owned her for about 6 months, and for at least 2 or 3 months, I haven't had any issues with her at all. So, and this is a very temporary situation. So, I have access to both of these crates. Again, like I said, they're all hardwired up together and locked up together. There's, this is a double latching crate that we actually had to put upside down. So I've got a carabiner and I've tied it up with wire and a bungee cord just to make sure nobody can get in at night. Tick, 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 tick. But their wings are clipped. I know that they were being, just as a preventative treatment, they were getting, and the name escapes me, it starts with a D. It's a medication for respiratory illness that you put in their water and you dilute it. I'll put it in the description of the video. But I mean, they're completely healthy. They're wonderful. They're just a little hot right now. But they did great in the car. They were nice and calm. And we got them right in here. We had everything set up. Like I said, I made sure that everybody's drinking, everybody is eating. But they're just really calm and really sweet. So the kids and I have a whole long list of names that we're thinking about. You know, like we said, we like Hedwig or Minerva for our big gray girl. And then we're thinking of names for the other two. So we're just really excited. We're happy that they're here. Like I said, their personality and their disposition is great. They come from a house that has a young child who's out with the chickens, and they have a dog who barks and stuff. So they're used to all of those sounds and all of those things. So we are hoping with time to have them be, you know, pretty cuddly and friendly. Of course, they're not going to lay eggs for a while. I mean, they might lay while they're in here, but I'm not counting on it. Just because this has been stressful and there's a lot of change and transition for them. So of course their body is like, okay, laying an egg is not the most important thing for me right now. So we'll see what happens, but I'll do at least one update video. We're going to keep them here for at least 2 or 3 weeks. We are planning on taking a socially distanced little family trip in mid-November. And so we have to make sure that they've been adjusted in with the flock and with the big coop and everything by then. So, but we're just going to keep an eye on them and hope everybody is safe and well. But we're so excited to show you our new little trio, and then we'll have a flock of 8. So thanks so much for watching and for being here, and we'll be back soon.